Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Elemental Evan podcast. Today's episode is a Wellness Wednesday episode. So today is going to be a full-length episode. And today I'm super excited because I'm going to be sharing one of the essential elements, is what I call it. So I wanted to really kind of do a few episodes in connecting to what the name of this podcast really is all about, and kind of where I got the idea for it, and really explain the different elements and how they connect to our health. So today is going to be all about the element of earth. And yeah, pretty much the reason I chose the name Elemental Evan is because I truly do believe that if we are able to reconnect with the elements, and like I call them essential elements, and there's one element that I include, so it'd be the fifth one, and that is, what I consider not an essential element, but still important. But nonetheless, these four essential elements are key to our health. And, through these four elements, they all really embody a portion of our health. And if we are able to just reconnect to these elements and, be in unison with them and respect them and allow, this beneficial kind of relationship with them, then we are going to be at a better state of health, and actually at our most optimal state of health. And that was really the reason behind me creating my Elemental 7-Day Health Reset, was to just help people reconnect to the elements. And so one of the things I've been contemplating on creating is a week to 2 week long course where I actually go through the course with everybody and help everyone connect to the elements, because some of the benefits that I see in reconnecting to the elements in people who have done my 7-Day Elemental Reset is just astounding. I see people really improve their sleep, their mental focus, and, mental clarity. They set up their whole day much better, where when you're sleeping correctly at the right times, you're just much more put together. You're able to be more effective in your day. You're eating much cleaner. You're drinking cleaner. You're breathing better. You're moving more. And it really can transform a lot of people's lives, both mentally, physically, spiritually, on pretty much all levels. So it's so beneficial that I really, really want to help share, the connection to the elements with all of you. And I think going through a little course like that might just be the way. So keep your ears your eyes peeled. No, keep your ears open and ready to hear about any upcoming news on those. So I'll be sure to obviously let you guys know here on the podcast if I'm creating that and how it's coming along. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and jump into today's episode, which is all about the element of earth, as I stated previously. So when you look at the element of earth, you can kind of see that there's a few ways of connecting to the earth element, right? The earth obviously represents a lot of different things like stability, kind of that homey connection, like you feel comforted, right? Like the earth is obviously our home. It's a very stable place. It's strong, it's solid, it's providing, it's, gives back, without anything in return, expects nothing, but just provides and provides and provides. And so it represents a lot of really good aspects. And a few of the ways that you can connect to this element is simply to just get grounded, right? So physically touching the ground with your bare skin, whether this be with, your hands or your feet or, your face, your back, whatever it may be, is a way of grounding. And so this is something that doesn't happen as often these days, just because people are living in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20-story buildings, and being able to touch soil is not a common thing for them. So that is something that we definitely need to work on. And then another way of connecting to the earth element is simply through the soil of the earth, right? So the soil is filled with all the vitamins and minerals that, is consumed by the plants, and those plants are then eaten by us or eaten by animals, which we then eat those animals. And so realistically, all the nutrients and, the vitamins, the minerals, everything we need to live is coming from the earth, right? So really respecting the soil and eating foods that are from specifically directly the soil, right, are going to be a great way to improve our health and connect to the earth element. And then in terms of movement, you have a lot of static postures that are tied in with the earth element. So there's even like in yoga, the mountain pose, right? Like being very strong and rooted into the earth. I like to do static postures when you're thinking of connecting to the earth element, because obviously the earth does move, but it moves very slowly. And so when you go ahead and create these very strong postures and hold them for a period of time, you're really building that strength and stability. So those are a few different, types of connection to the earth element that we have. And we're just going to kind of dive in a little bit more on how we can really connect to the earth element. So starting off again with grounding. This is something that I recommend that everyone do daily, okay, is getting outside and putting, usually it's just your bare feet, but it could be your hands, it could be your back, it could be any part of your skin directly in contact with the soil, Mother Nature basically it's just getting back and creating that connection. Now, for a lot of people who are thinking maybe this is a little woo-woo or something, let me go ahead and explain more scientifically why this is important. So the practice of grounding is important because throughout the day, you are building up a positive charge in your cells, which over time can become harmful to the body. Now, the earth generally has a slightly negative charge, and when you ground or simply connect your bare skin to the ground, you're able to release that positive charge and thus achieve a neutral charge. Now, this wasn't an issue back in the day because we were able to connect our bare feet and our bodies to the ground regularly, but now we live in sky-rise buildings. We have concrete all around us or asphalt. We have these rubber soles on our shoes that we never take off when we're outside. And so essentially you're just building up this positive charge over and over every single day, and you are not able to release that positive charge and achieve a neutral charge by connecting to the earth. If you are an electrician, then you already know that you ground your wires, right? Like into the ground, literally. So there is definitely science backing this. You can 100% search this on Google or whatever platform you'd like to search on, and you will see that there is absolute science backing the effectiveness of grounding. Now, a few of the benefits of grounding include decreased inflammation, improved sleep, normalized cortisol levels, improved blood flow, and protecting against cardiovascular disease. Okay, these are not small little things that it's doing. Okay, it's not just maybe making your hair a more vibrant color or something. Like, this is very, very impactful. These are things that are very, very helpful to your sleep, or sorry, to your health, as to your sleep as well, but very helpful for your health, and can really improve a lot of aspects of your life by simply getting outside and just touching the earth with your bare skin. It's a very simple practice. I do it every single morning. I get outside, I get the light, which I will cover on the fire element, but I get outside, I get light on my skin and in my eyes, and I'm connecting to the ground, to the earth, and grounding, trying to achieve a more neutral charge. It's very, very important. Simple, costs you nothing, and you should absolutely be doing it. So the next part would be to eat whole foods and not processed foods. So I kind of touched on this in terms of, the soil containing all these vitamins and minerals that, the plants use, and that the animals eat the plants and obtain them as well. And then obviously we eat the plants and the animals, depending on what your dietary restrictions might be. It might be just one or the other or both, but nonetheless, we eat them. And that is where we achieve our intake of vitamins and minerals, right? And all the nutrients essentially that we need. So the reason eating whole foods is so important is because when you eat foods that are highly processed, things that are pretty much always in a box or just do not look like they came from nature, those are the things that you do not want to eat. You want to eat foods that you can take and look at them and say, oh, this came from this tree or this plant or, this region of California, because that's where we raise, that livestock or whatever it may be. But you want the food that you're eating to resemble where it came from, very specifically. An Oreo or a donut, those do not look like something from nature. And obviously everything comes from nature, but they are far removed and processed. So the further you get away from being a whole food, meaning something that simply is, representative of where it came from. So an apple from an apple tree, a piece of steak from a cow, those are whole foods. Those are recognizable foods, and we know where they came from. So really focusing on those foods are going to help to nourish your body and allow you to definitely have a much higher level and state of health. So we have getting grounded and we have eating whole foods. And then the last one is going to kind of go back to the soil, and that is to just support regenerative gardening practices, right? So if you're able to have a garden, then absolutely by all means create a garden, because when you can have food that is, so close to the source, that is going to be the best for you. It's going to have the highest vitamin content. It's not having to sit and be transported. It's not having to, pollute the air to get to you. You can simply walk outside, pick off whatever it is, or if you have the ability to have a massive piece of land and have, livestock on it, then, obviously go out and kill and butcher whatever the animal is that you're trying to eat. That is going to be 100% the highest and best quality food that you can get. Obviously, we do not want to use any herbicides, pesticides, rodenticides, fungicides, any of the sides. Those are going to be harmful. Those are the things we do not want in our foods, and they are also harmful for the soil itself, okay? That stuff that you're using does not just, go onto the plant and then evaporate into thin air. No, it goes onto the plant, and then when you water those plants, it then goes into the soil and it's runoff, and then you have these soils that are, practically contaminated with all these different kinds of sides and just terrible things that you do not want to be eating. So a few different things you can do if you do have a garden is definitely do some composting. You can compost even if you don't have a garden. I actually have a little compost bin where I throw all of my, leftover scraps into, and it's really awesome because that soil becomes so fertile that you can just drop seeds in there and it will sprout immediately. I mean, there's times where I've eaten a tomato or, a lemon or an avocado, and I just toss the seeds in there, and then it grows, and all of a sudden now I have an avocado tree. So it's really awesome. It's a great practice to have. If you do have a big garden, try not to till the earth too much. Allow the soil to just simply do its thing. You don't need to really dig it up. You can allow it to, just be where it is, be natural, and just dig your holes where you need them. You can also practice rotating crops, so you're not overusing soil and depleting it of the minerals and vitamins that might naturally be getting taken out by just planting the same crop on it over and over again. This is a really important practice to do because we are practicing a lot of monocropping in the foods that we are getting from the stores. And what's happening is we are depleting our soils, and now the fruits and vegetables that we eat today compared to 10, 20, or 50 years ago are much lower in vitamin and mineral content. So it's very important that we practice, regenerating our soils so that they are full of nutrients to then provide to us down the road. And it's very simple. You just rotate your crops. You don't put, the same stuff on the same soil all the time. You can let it rest. So those are some really big key things you can do. And then just kind of on that note real quick, since we are not achieving the level of nutrient intake that we've been needing to have, there is a product that I have been consuming recently, and it's not really a product, it's actually just more a food. It's an algae, and that is Spirulina and Chlorella. So I interviewed the founder of Energy Bits, Catherine Arnston, and I believe it was episode 67. You should definitely go listen to it. It was incredible. She dropped a ton of knowledge and just explained how nutrient dense Spirulina and Chlorella is, and how it can really help to make up the lack that we're having from eating the foods that are being produced and monocropped. And, thus we're not receiving the level of nutrients that we need. And by eating spirulina and chlorella, you can actually achieve those levels. They're packed with 40 vitamins and minerals. Spirulina has all 9 essential fatty acids. Chlorella has the highest level of chlorophyll in the world. Melatonin is also, I believe, in spirulina is the highest level as well. And chlorella maybe as well. I'm sorry. Just go listen to the episode. She breaks it all down. She's extremely knowledgeable on it. But nonetheless, you should definitely check out Energy Bits. If you don't check out Energy Bits, then please just look into some spirulina and chlorella. But if you do go the route of Energy Bits, which I'll link it in the show notes, definitely go ahead and use the code Elemental, get 20% off. Okay. And on that note, you can buy a pack of 1,000 tablets. And I broke it down that if you were to just have 3 tablets a day, it would last you over half a year. So extremely cost effective and well worth it. They can help you get rid of a lot of random supplements that you might be taking because they are a whole food and they contain so much beneficial items in it. So anyways, kind of coming back to the farming practices, you definitely want to try to support local farmers, organic farmers, people who are practicing like biodynamic farming or some form of regenerative farming so that they're giving back to the earth and not contributing to this monocropping. Obviously, I understand that, cost can be an issue here as well. But like I said, if you can have a little garden that can be very cost effective and help to give you some really, really high quality food that's going to be packed of nutrients and not deficient like all the monocrop stuff that we're getting. So those are definitely going to be a few ways that you can reconnect to the earth. You can also practice things like planting trees, giving back to the earth in any way we can. Don't litter, refrain from using single-use plastic. And I know those are a little bit less about your health benefits, but they are definitely still in paying respect to the element of the earth and just the earth in general, right? So that is going to pretty much do it for the practices. If you would also like to include a little bit of movement in connection to the earth element, then as I stated earlier, you can practice static postures. So in yoga, you would call those asanas, and you would just practice static asanas. So you would hold a pose for an extended period of time, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 minutes. And, you can hold down dog for 30 seconds, no problem. But once you start getting up to that minute and 30, it starts getting a little bit harder to hold. But that is a static posture, and it's a great way to build some strength and stability, just like the element of earth. So that is, quite a few ways to connect to the earth element. And if you are interested in hearing more about this, definitely check out my course, the 7-day Elemental Health Reset. Sorry. And go ahead and check that out. I actually have been, in the last few episodes, I've been mentioning that I have a little thing going on here where if you purchase the 7-day reset, you get a free breathwork course with it as well. My breathwork course. And it was just a little way for me to give back to all of you listeners. And there are actually 3 of them left still. So if you are interested in getting the 7-day Elemental Health Reset and getting the breathwork course for free on top of it, obviously you have to pay for the 7-day reset, but you get the breathwork course for free, then go ahead and message me on either email or Instagram and just simply type in 7-day reset. I'll know exactly what you're talking about. And then we can get you a coupon code over to you so that you can get the breathwork course for free. Alrighty, guys, that is going to do it for today's episode. I hope you really enjoyed this. I'm going to be covering all of the elements, back to back. So each Wednesday from now on, you're going to be hearing, next up is going to be water, and then fire and air. And then the last one's going to be ether. So stay tuned. I think it's going to be really exciting. I'm happy to also explain kind of, where the idea for this podcast name came from and just kind of dig into all that. So anyways, thank you all for listening and being long-term listeners. If you are a long-term listener, and if you enjoyed this show, then please feel free to share it with your friends, family, and loved ones. Go ahead and share a story on Instagram or whatever social media you use. If you are interested in seeing this podcast in the form of a video, then please check out the YouTube channel. Go ahead and subscribe to it. I'm uploading all of the videos up to there. Still a new thing to me, but getting the hang of it now. And yeah, if you haven't left a review or subscribed to this podcast, then please do so, especially if you find value in this podcast. And if you do find value in this podcast, also leave a review. It takes you just a minute or two, and you can even leave a written review on Apple Podcast if you're on there. I appreciate that very much. And it really does help people to find this show and spread this message, and give out this beneficial information, because that's what this is all about for me, is just simply sharing the knowledge that I have with all of you, and give back to you in a way that's digestible, so you can understand, these maybe daunting concepts about health, but, put them in a way that's very practical and give you actionable steps to take literally today. Obviously, I just listed a few different ways you could connect to the earth element, like grounding. It's free and it has so much benefit for you. So anyways, that's the goal of this podcast, is to really just help give you the tools to take control of your health, connect to your elements, and get back to a natural state of being and health. So that's going to do it for today. You already know the motto for this show. It's do everything with good intentions. I truly believe that. Do everything with good intentions, and you will know in your heart that, you're doing the right thing, even if the outcome might not be what you wanted, but still do everything with good intentions and connect to your elements. I will see you all on Monday. Peace.